Hi, everybody. It's Matrixity from Matrixity Muses. Hope you're having a great day. Happy Friday Eve. Welcome to my Matrix. Today we're going to talk about two things, kind of like combined, but it is bullying and karma. Well, when I think about bullying today, it's a whole new world compared to when I was a younger child in middle school. Today it's all about using the internet and putting things out on the internet. So the impact that bullying is having seems to be, I don't know, worse than what it used to be, because so many young people are now feeling so much despair and so much hopelessness that they're actually taking their lives, which isn't good. Now, when I was in middle school, I was bullied. At that time, well, I would still say that I am too. I'm still an introverted kind of person, but I'm an extroverted introvert, if that makes any type of sense at all. But back then I was very shy, very introverted. I kept to myself, didn't have a lot of friends. So in middle school, we attended a school that was close to home, Wallace Middle School, which doesn't exist anymore. And I was there for 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. And we lived about 5 minutes away by walking path through the woods. Now, we used to live in a place called Orleans Woods, and at that time it was a very nice neighborhood. It was brand new. We were probably maybe the fourth family to move out there when it still really was woods. It was the place where all of the black teachers and ministers and principals moved when they left the city of downtown Charleston and wanted to move to the suburbs. It was one of the first black neighborhoods for black people. So it was very, very nice, and lots of really nice people lived there. Lots of teachers, pastors. My pastor, who was a pastor at my church, lived about 4 houses down. Lots of principals. So it was a really great neighborhood at that time. So there was a path cut through the woods between Orleans Woods and Wallace School. And so you could actually walk through the woods to get back and forth to school every day. Well, when the bullies decided that I was going to be the target, I could no longer take that path. I remember one day I was walking home through the woods, and one of the girls, I heard her say, "Oh, we're going to give her the beat down." I don't know what she said, but she was going to give me the beat down. So next thing I saw was a couple of girls, 3 girls, pulling off their earrings, taking off their shoes, and I thought, I better run. So the one thing I could do back then was I could run really fast. And so I ran as fast as I could out of that woods and got home and did not get that beat down. So one of the things I really learned to do in middle school was to run really fast, because I had to run a lot of times to avoid those girls. Now, why was I the bully? I don't know. Who knows about these things? Maybe it was because I was so shy. I kept to myself. And they says, well, she's a target. She's really quiet. We'll just, pick her. The other thing could have been was because my mom was a teacher. And I think she taught some of the older siblings of some of the girls who were in school with me. And it could have been, well, we don't like her mother teaching us as the teacher, so let's do something to her daughter. So I don't know. It could have been any number of things as far as why I was the bully, but I was. And so life back then was really, really miserable. And I used to think, why were these girls bothering me? I've never done anything to anyone. Why won't they leave me alone? I used to keep a diary at that time, and I've looked back years later, probably 20 years later, at that little diary, and sure enough, I'd recorded some of the things they'd done to me, some of the descriptions of the girls, and for the most part, all through middle school, high school, and even after I left college, the faces of the main girls stayed with me. And when I was younger, I always wondered, why? Why are those girls bothering me? Will anything ever happen? Will everything ever be made right in the universe? Will they ever see that they did anything wrong to me because I was an innocent party? And I used to wonder about that and talk to God about that all the time. And I guess it was the karma part, as far as, will karma ever let me see what happens to these girls? Will anything ever happen to them because of what they did to me? So it was not good. I remember on the last day of school of 8th grade, going to high school, of course my mom's a teacher, so on the last day of school we always had teacher gifts. I don't know if kids nowadays do that, but back then you always had a gift for your teacher. My mother had bought a beautiful crystal bowl for my teacher that year, and so I had got to school, and in the hallway, of course, the bullies snatched that bowl away from me. It was all wrapped up like a gift. and took it. Well, I went straight to the principal because that was not going to happen. And so I got the principal. They tracked down the girls. I got my bull back, but they didn't just give it to me. The principal made the girls hand me the bull back in my hands. But instead of nicely handing it to me, they pretty much shoved it to me. And when she did, it was so hard, it knocked the wind out of me. But regardless, I got the bull back. It was in good shape, not broken, and I was able to give it to my teacher. So those days were extremely hard. So in addition to running fast, when you think about, I'll go back to the path in the woods, I got tired of running fast. So one of the things I had to do was to figure out a way to get home, because I could walk to school through the woods, but I couldn't go home after school through the woods. So there was one other way that got home, and it was a long way. I had to walk all the way down Wallace School Road, take a left on Highway 61. There was a sidewalk there. Walk all the way down Highway 61 until I got to the entrance of Orleans Woods, and then walk down all the way to the end of the neighborhood, because we lived in the back of the neighborhood. That's where the developers started building first. So it was a long walk. So I had a long walk, and I probably walked home that way for 2 years. So probably 7th grade and 8th grades, I walked home. The other thing that might have made me a target when I think about it was the fact that I played the violin. I've been playing the violin since the 4th grade, still play a little bit now. And I was probably one of maybe 2 or 3, not very many, African-American students who played the violin. So I think that also made me a target, because we were all the string students were put together in one special class. And we were all kind of smarticus. We were smart little kids. So I think that was something too. So the fact that my mom was a teacher, maybe, the fact that I was a string player, I played the violin, and the fact that I was so very quiet and shy. I was just really shy. Probably made me the target. Well, finally middle school was over, graduated, and didn't want to carry that same stigma with me. So instead of going to the public school, which would have been Middleton, those same girls would have been following right there. Probably would have been the same thing over again, but probably worse. So my mom put me in a private school. And there things were very, very different. Didn't have any problems at all. Made great friends. Had a tribe of kids who were wonderful. And really found out what true friends were like. When I look back on it too, one of the big disappointments of middle school was that I did have one friend, and I think, and she would walk with me to school every day, probably for years, probably the 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. The bullying got so bad. One day I was waiting for her to walk to school, and she never showed up. Didn't know why. I waited and waited and waited to the point where we were going to be late. And finally, she showed up. She passed my house, and I says, well, what's wrong? She didn't stop. Like, she just kept walking by like I didn't exist. And so I ran out to her in the street and says, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you come earlier? We're going to be late now. And she didn't want to talk to me. And finally she said, I can't walk with you to school anymore because of those girls. I guess they got to her too and want to give her the beat down. And so her mother told her that because of those girls, she couldn't walk with me to school anymore because they were going to beat her up after school or before school or whatever. So I was crushed because she was supposed to be my friend. She was my only friend, but I was crushed, and that really crushed me to my soul. And that stayed with me for a long time, years after that, about friendship and what friendship really means. So I was really happy that when I got to high school, I had a big tribe of friends, and they knew who they are. I'm probably going to miss some people, but we're talking Danny, Donald, Trisha, Kelly, Barbara, Sharon, Kathy. I'm probably even some people out, Lori. So there's a tribe of people who are my friends then, and they're still my friends today. And those are really good people, and they really taught me what friendship was all about. And let me tell you, I think at one time they honestly did save my life because I was so undone by all the things that happened to me in middle school. So I was thankful for them and still am that they're still my friends. So let's get to the karma part. When you think about karma, your life goes on, you think about those things, about what happened, you kind of put them in your mind. They leave your mind, they're in the background of your mind. Well, karma must have known, or the universe knew, that I needed to find out something about these girls and what happened to them. And did they do something with themselves? And do they even remember me? So the first thing that happened was after college, I was working for a local nursing home here. And I was the activity director, and I had to do a lot of things with our residents. And one of the things finally got to the point where I needed a driver. So we put an ad in the Post and Courier to hire a driver. And sure enough, one of the resumes that came across my desk, I had an interview, was one of those girls. I was like, oh, she has put in for a job here. She probably doesn't remember my name because my name was in the ad. Interviewed her like everybody else, had to be fair with the interviews. And so she came in, sat down, we talked to her. I don't know if she recognized me at all. She didn't make like she recognized me at all, but I thought to myself, girlfriend, you're not getting this job. Granted, she wasn't qualified for the job, but trust me, she wasn't getting that job. So I interviewed her, and as soon as she left, got on my little computer, sent out the little letter that sent to all the others who weren't going to get the job. Thank you for your interest. We've decided on another candidate, and good luck with your job search. Boom. She definitely wasn't going to get that job. But it let me know that where she was in life wasn't exactly in a good place. She didn't actually go to college. She was unemployed. She had a small child, so she wasn't doing all that great as far as where she was in life. And I was at a higher place as far as where I was in life. So that let me know that, all the things they did, they were negative to other people. They didn't have a lot of positive things going on in their life right then. Years passed again. And this is after I left Charleston for 10 years and came back home. I was at the deli at a local supermarket here, and I saw another one of those girls, my bullies, and I thought, oh my God, look at her. I'm never going to shop at this deli again. I didn't buy anything that day, but I saw her from afar, and she looked beat down. We are talking like life had been extremely hard for her, like she'd been rode hard and put up wet. I'm telling you, she did not look good. So that let me know that good things didn't happen to her either. Left that store, didn't say a word to her, never shopped at that deli again. Years passed some more. This time I was in Target, and guess who I saw? The only friend that I had in middle school who refused to walk with me. Did not say anything to her, saw her from afar. She looked okay, but all the feelings I had that day when she wouldn't walk with me, I felt a little pang of that again, but I thought, well, you know what? We're just going to let that go. Not going to say anything to her and just, wish her well. But, karma was still working its way, letting me know what happened to all those girls, because I guess the universe still knew I needed to know. Finally, this was still years later. I was working at DSS, and some of my coworkers and I, we would go to Rivers Avenue because it was right down the street and have lunch at some of these various restaurants. So I think we might have been at Wendy's that day. So we were sitting around at the table talking and laughing and eating, and all of a sudden, this woman comes up to me and she says, "Are you so-and-so? Matrixity," using my real name, which is of course not Matrixity. "Are you so-and-so?" And I said, "Yes." She didn't look familiar at all. She says, "I'm so-and-so." She said her name was so-and-so, and I can't remember her name at this point. She says, "I've been looking for you my whole life." And I thought, what the heck? She says, "I've been looking for you my whole life. I have been searching for you just to see your face one more time to tell you that I am so sorry. I was one of the girls who bullied you, and I want you to know that I am so sorry for all the things that I did to you, that we did to you as a group, because you didn't deserve any of it. You did nothing to anyone." Well, who knew that I still needed to hear that apology, because all of a sudden, there I was in the middle of Wendy's. I burst into tears. So did she. Oh my gosh. She apologized over and over. And she just wanted me to know that, she literally had been searching for me my whole life, scanning faces, looking at faces to see if she would ever see my face again. She says, "I've been searching for you literally my whole life to see you just one more time to tell you that I was so sorry." Oh my gosh. What a thing. Well, just, that was something that honestly I needed to hear. The universe knew that. And then after that, those girls' names and their faces just kind of like left my mind. They're gone. The woman in the Wendy's, she gave me her business card. Don't even know where it went. But to let you know that karma does sometimes let you see what happened to these people and see that you're in a better place than they may be. Some of them may make amends, some may not. But just know that regardless of all the bullying, you can survive it. You got to have some friends. You got to have some support. And you have to have some strength within yourself to know that you are special. That if you're going to survive that bullying, you've got to let you know, feel it in you that you aren't going to get the beat down from the girls. You aren't going to let those names bother you, because you know that those names aren't true. That words can hurt, and just because someone says something doesn't mean it's right, and certainly doesn't mean it's true. Because you are special. You are loved. And for all the students out there who might be bullied, just know that there's somebody who really does care about you. Just reach out. There are friends out there who really want to be with you and make you feel special, because you are. You are special. You're loved. And just, those bullying people, they're not going to do well in this world. Anyway, you all have a great day, and I will see you again soon. See you later, alligator. Bye.